Morning everyone, and welcome once again to Virginia International Raceway. I'm Jonathan Green, alongside me Ben Sissel, as we bring you the latest action from SVRA, the Vintage Racing Series from the United States, and we welcome you around the world. It's a little bit foggy, as you can see. In fact, we've had a delay because of the fog, and but I'm glad to say that within reason, we're not far off schedule. More importantly, we have cars on track and we are ready to go racing. Ben, we've had every kind of weather here at VIR this weekend.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be VIR without really stretching all of our boundaries and making our men and women in race control go a little bit crazy with scheduling and rescheduling and rescheduling. But we've got cars on track. This is Group 5A. And we've got a great mix of cars. We've got about 17 or 18 out there right now. Ben Sinnott up front, which we're used to seeing him up front in that 1991 Lola T9190. But we've got Lolas, Carbiers, Tigas, Swift, a Shannon Sports 2000, a Duran, and we got a good mix of S2000 cars. This is a great track for these cars because of all, it's got a long straightaway, but then the difficult sections, all the S's, the twisty bits, you can really see the fog there because
I was going to say, with these
barely see the headlights.
I was going to say, with this low-hanging fog, I think I'd prefer to be in a low-hanging Lola right now. The lower to the ground you are, the more chance you got of seeing. Yeah, there's our Maserati safety car with the lights flashing on. They'll lead them round. And as you say, we've got cars from 1983 all the way up to 2006. A bunch of Lolas, a bunch of Swifts, Dorans, and nice combination. A Shannon Sports 2000. What's that? Gary Johnson's driving that.
I don't know. I'm excited to see. We'll see. It's a 1986, a Shannon Sports 2000, number 2. We're going to look for that.
Of course, we raced yesterday, and you could see some dry oil lines there from yesterday's racing. We've had Trans Am and SVRA involved in the action of the weekend. We'll be bringing you a bumper race for Trans Am today, which involves every one of our series in Trans Am, and they're going to race all at once for 100 miles, which is going to be really exciting. We don't often do that because this is a doubleheader. We were hoping to go to Watkins Glen as we look up towards Roller Coaster, as it's called, here at VIR. The conditions really not easy. But I'm sure they're lifting. In fact, in the last 20 minutes, they've lifted quite considerably. As you can see, the light's off now on the safety car, so we will be going racing any moment now. And that Maserati SUV will pull off, and as you can see, they are forming up in twos to get ready to go racing. Ben Sinnott, as you mentioned, and John Thompson will lead them through.
Yeah, but look for Nathan Sigliano there in that beautiful number 79, and then next to him is Peter Kraus in the 91. Look for them to try to get inside at turn 1 when this goes green.
Well, as you can see, the Maserati pulls away, and therefore we are all ready to go racing for our first race of the day here at VIR Group 5A of SVRA, and away they go. The Haycock Classic Gold Cup, Group 5A Feature Race 2. They raced yesterday. That race was won by Ben Sinnott, and therefore he's at the front again as everyone jostling for position as they go into what's called the Horseshoe for the first time. Oh,
Nathan Sigliano around right there.
You said watch for him. Well.
I don't think he was contacted. I think he just went around on his own, and then Thomas Kane, I saw him getting up beside
it's still
Peter.
Slippy too from yesterday's rain.
Yeah, there's so much dew on the ground here that Nathan, he's really going to be kicking himself for that. So we've got Ben Sinnott, John Thompson, Peter Kraus, Thomas Kane, and Greg Miller. Dave Handy is out there, but he's not listed on our list, but I saw his car out there. And that's Gary Holcomb right there in the number 8-2 going around turn 5.
Bit of a dramatic start then, but we are all away. I'm glad to say we are away because the marshals have been out there since about 7:30 this morning waiting for the fog to rise. It hasn't risen completely, but we have got a race on, and I'm sorry, this is the best we can give you, but we're just coming out of the fog, and conditions not easy for the drivers, but as you can see, they're going hell-bent for leather to go as fast as they can, but already the field's spreading out here as Ben Sinnott leads the way from John Thompson. Good little midfield battle here.
I think my favorite car is Mark Clark there in that number 15. Looks like the old Porsche livery, the 962 livery from the Rolex. That's just a really pretty car. So we'll see if Nathan Sigliano gets back in as they go up this long straight, so long that they just kind of disappear, evaporate.
But look at the leader. He's already coming into the penultimate corner now. And then the final corner, which is Hog Pen. And that's the key corner here at VIR, because you need to come down this hill and then really get on the gas early, or early as you can anyway, for the long, long straight here, which has a big kink in the middle of it, but it is a long straight. And they do just exactly that, past our commentary position here in the Crow's Nest. And then they vaunt down through that right-hand kink.
Now watch this battle here. We've got the 22 there of Davis Jones in that beautiful Gulf coming up right now. He's come up from the back, coming around Greg Miller, trying to take it from the outside, but that sets him up good for the inside here, coming into NASCAR. Great pass right there by Davis Jones. That's a beautiful car.
Yeah, it is a good-looking car, isn't it? And he has come right from the back, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a really good racer. He and his dad raced here years ago in a Porsche 911, and he's quite a younger person, but he's been racing probably his whole life, and I think he considers this his home track. Really nice guy.
The design of these cars back in the mid-'80s, it's quite interesting because they're quite unique, really, the Swifts. I don't know. I mean, you can see how they developed into the bigger cars and how sort of the aerodynamics developed, but they are quite unique in their own right, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's basically, this is just a racer class. You know, to me, it's a step above shifter cart as we watch Davis Jones get between the battle here, see if he can pass Peter Krause in that 91. This is Peter Krause, is definitely his home track. Peter Krause is a staple here. It looks like Davis is just able to get around him. So Davis might be fighting Ben Sinnott for the lead here, which would be amazing to see.
Out of Oak Tree and down the back straight they come here. SVRA Group 5A in action. Our first race of the day, and we've got a lot of group racing to bring you here from SVRA, as well as Trans Am coming up later. No fans, sadly, in the crowd today. And, well, they wouldn't have a lot to see at the moment. But obviously with COVID, we are on restriction. And we had to pass up going to Watkins Glen, a real shame. And we've made this a double header. And the SVRA will also be in action at COTA in November. And just checking the miles per hour, 120 miles an hour top speed.
So watch for Thomas Kane coming through here. He's in the red and white car, about to make a pass on Peter Krause into one. Peter does not want to let that happen.
And you were just saying that this class you would put just above shifter karts?
Yeah, it's a racer class, you know, so it's all the cars are set up basically the same. There's different classes and groups in here, but, you know, they're all racing within their own class. These two are racing for a class win right here. But it's a driver's class. The cars aren't that expensive. They're easy to maintain. A lot of them are running 2-liter Ford Pinto motors. Right. And it's usually the best, closest racing. These guys have no problem getting underneath one another and racing side by side. A lot of times I like to hang GoPro cameras off the side, and they always tell me, they're like, I wouldn't do that because we get that close, and they really do.
Yeah, I mean, fun. Like you say, fiberglass tub and a Pinto engine, you're right. It's a good, affordable price point, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's see if Davis Jones is able to get up here next to John Thompson here as they go into Oak Tree. That's turn 11 right there. Yeah, there he is right behind him. I think he's going to try to get the draft. His car looks like it's just handling a little bit better. It's a little bit smaller wheelbase, and then here's a good battle.
Now, this is the real overtaking opportunity here at VIR, which is down this long back straight. It seems to go on forever. You come out of this corner here, and then if you are close enough, and we've just seen it just ahead, a chance to slipstream and then jump out before this long downhill section through roller coaster, as it's called. There goes the leader, Ben Sinnott, excuse me.
Yeah, and I think we've got Thomas Kane has passed Peter Krause. But the other great thing about this class is everywhere is a passing zone in this class. All you're doing is you have to race so precise in these cars. One little slip up, missed shift, missed apex, and the other guy will pounce on that. And I think we saw that from Thomas Kane. I think he was just able to get on the power after Oak Tree, just a little bit better than Peter. So expect Peter to really try to gas him down here.
Yeah, I'm going to say his chance to come back at him will be coming into the first corner horseshoe, as we see exactly what the 22 of Davis Jones is doing. Not quite close enough.
Davis is in the 1983 Tiga, and John Thompson is in the 1990 Lola 90. Two totally different cars. You can really see there. That's just a beautiful car. And Davis has always been known. He used to have this beautiful, like, lime green 911 that always looked like a show car. He and his dad really prepared their cars really well, and he's carrying on that tradition here. There's Nathan. So hopefully he was able to get the mud off. And knowing him, he's so mad at himself.
Yeah.
He loves racing, but he really only loves racing in a pack. And so he was really looking forward to this, to be able to race in a pack. He usually is, but he spun it at one.
Yeah, spun it at one, managed to get it back, and also tested out just how wet it is. If you're joining us for the first time, we've had torrential rain, the back end of a hurricane that came through the Gulf, Hurricane Beta, whichever you prefer, and Virginia got dumped on late last Thursday night through Friday. And so we had a little bit of testing and practice in a heavy wet weather, and that meant that the grass either side of the track is still very wet, and so any chance you go off track, you are liable to either get stuck or get spun round and in trouble.
It's starting to lift, the fog. We're
Yep.
starting to be able to see a little bit
Whoa!
more. Oh, he goes wide there.
Just about
So now
gathered
this
that.
other person is going to be able to capitalize on that. So Davis Jones really starting to pull away. I wish we would have had some in-car on him to be able to pull from the back of the pack like that. That's always my favorite. Whenever I see our fast guys at the back of the grid, I'm like, I got to put cameras on this. And it usually ends up being some of the best footage.
Looking at Thomas Kane coming onto the main straight yet again. Kane currently in 4th position. 3 laps done then, and about 9 minutes to go in this one.
So if you're just tuning in on the SVRA app or the SVRA social media channels, this is what we call the Sports 2000 Class Group 5A. And if you're wondering what these cars are, they're basically set up to be as primitive as possible, a lot of fun to drive. This is a racer's class. If you love racing and racing hard and fast with a bunch of other men and women who also enjoy racing, this is the group for you, and you can find turnkey cars in this class anywhere from about $20,000 to about $80,000. It was a class started by the SCCA back in the day. Look at this beautiful number 15. But then you've got guys like this that just love to race, but they also really want to make their car really stand out. So that's a photogenic car right there.
It is a nice paint scheme from Ben Clark, Mark Clark, excuse me, and as you say, that beautifully painted.
And see the
Swift
lines
DB.
of that one, so it kind of goes up and a hump. That's the prettiest one out there from a lines perspective. GMT takes care of that. They're one of our great race services here out of Connecticut. They take care of a lot of the cars here this weekend, but that car's always out there running. But anyway, if you want to get into racing, if you're a race car driver, this is a great way to go, like maybe a step out of Spec Miata into this race class, because if something does get damaged or something does happen, it's fairly inexpensive to fix, and the parts are available, and there's a great community of S2000 racers in North America.
Greg Miller going down the back straight, as you can see, off into the distance. The fog starting to rise here at VIR. It's early morning here. So we thank you for wherever you're tuning in around the world to SVRA. I'm Jonathan Green and Ben Sissel alongside me as we bring you the action. Lots of group racing from SVRA, very different cars, a paddock full of cars. They've all been COVID hunkered down and dying to go racing, and now we finally got a chance.
So Dave Handy must be out of the race. I saw that he's back 3 laps, and that's unusual, but he might have gone out there and said, I'm not going to do this in the fog. He's got a lot of customers here. This is his home track, his shop, VIR Sports. It's one of our sponsors. They provide tires for nearly all the SVRA competitors out of here, and so he's in the pits. That's unfortunate. He's really fun to watch. And that right there is the number 4 of Greg Miller's in 1985 Swift DB2.
Yeah, Greg currently in 6th place as he heads down towards the first corner. And you can see the gap he's got, but this is a good little battle. Very nice.
Rodney Kendall right there in the number 83, just about to be passed.
Well, he thought about it.
By Glenn Jividen Jr. I hope I'm saying your name right, and I'm sorry, Glenn.
Jividen Jr.
But that's a neat livery. I'm going to put you on the spot in every group today, Jonathan. You got to pick your favorite car.
All right. Well, I'm afraid I'm with you on the 15 at the moment.
Yeah, I like the 15, but I also really like the paint scheme of Davis Jones. And, you know, I like blue. That's why all the SVRA things are blue. So I always tell everybody, you paint your car SVRA blue, we'll take a few seconds off your qualifying time.
You reckon? Back with Thomas Kane, currently in 4th position. And as you can see, 2nd overall in 5HS2 as he hoons around the oak tree. There is no oak tree anymore. They've planted another one, evidently.
Yeah.
But there was a massive
I wish we could communicate with
that.
that camera guy, because if he turned the camera 180 degrees, we'd see the
new one.
son of oak tree.
I see.
It's right underneath him between some bleachers. Maybe we can get a note to him.
All right.
And he's got something right there in front of maybe a rain jacket. But I will say that the shots are great, but I'm really enjoying the audio from this.
Yeah.
You can really hear the cars and the tires working, just struggling to get grip.
Well, we bought 15 extra audio men just for that delight today.
Good stuff.
And hopefully later in the day, when the fog rises, we'll get our drones up, and we got some great shots. Ben Sinnott continues to lead here in Group 5A, as he did yesterday. He won the race yesterday in the first feature race.
And, you know, Ben Sinnott has talked to me before, because I've put cameras in his car, and he's like, you don't put cameras in my car anymore. It's like, man, you always just get out there in the lead so much.
Yeah, if you lead too much, you don't get any
cameras. And he's
cameras.
always so perfect. He hits every apex, so it's kind of boring footage. I'm like, I'll put cameras on you if you start from the back.
It's not for him, though. He wants to look at his footage.
Yeah, but he's got an in-car camera, and the guy really knows what he's doing. He's been a longtime student of Peter Krause, and Peter can't even see him on the track anymore. There he is, Ben Sinnott right there in that beautiful number 5.
He's pushing it. You can hear the squeal of the tires.
It looks like if Darth Vader was driving a car, that's the car that he'd pick. It's just that flat black. He always runs a really good line. He races with us in another group in the Cool Indy Lights car, and just a really good racer.
Off into the distance then, down the main straight towards Roller Coaster goes our leader. A massive lead of some 21 seconds.
Somebody missed a shift or something, I hear it.
Yeah, I can hear that. Just coming out of 12, that was it, there. I think it was the red car just going wide of Thomas Kane. So here comes your leader. And that's been a massive, massive lead. 21 seconds. That's a comfortable win. Or he's still got to make it to the line first.
Yeah, the one I'm impressed with is Davis Jones, because not only did he work his way from the rear, but to be able to do that cleanly within about 2 or 3 laps here at VIR, where there aren't a lot of passing zones, that's pretty impressive.
So we're now moving on to the final lap, and our leader is gone into the fog and off into the distance. Now we look back. Our cameraman at turn 1 letting us know just exactly the distance. And now we do have a good battle, though, for the podium. And it's not over by any means as we come to Horseshoe. Here comes the 22 up the inside, looking for a double overtake. He's got one.
That's lap traffic there.
Oh, okay.
So 22 is in second place, and then the
2 is out the way.
Yeah. I don't see. Oh, that's Gary Johnson. So that's this guy coming up here behind the number 2, John Thompson. That's the
third place
next
man
one with the Tennessee paint scheme right there, number 14.
Nice.
And he just passed Gary Johnson from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And the leader, Ben Sinnott, also going past some lap traffic as he heads now towards the checkered flag and coming onto the back straight for the last time. It's been a picture-perfect run so far. And doesn't look as though he's going to slow down.
How smooth he was through that? That's a really difficult section with really hard to get right, and he nailed it.
So we're coming to the conclusion of 5A. Ben Sinnott leads from Davis Jones. John Thompson still in third place. We had one spinner at the beginning of the race. That was Nathan Sigliano. He's now down in 10th position. And down the hill for the last time. His best lap, a 158.8. And look at him piling on the seconds, 24.8 seconds, almost half a minute ahead of everybody as he takes the checkered flag. Ben Sinnott wins for the second time here at VIR and does it in style. Nice. Who cares about the fog? He is breezing through.
So I just got word from social media advisor Ashley that they're asking what engines. The engines that most of these guys are running is a 2-liter Ford Pinto Ford engine, which is a regular engine. I guess it would be really easy to find parts for. Just a normal 2-liter Ford engine.
And probably very easy to buy and not a lot of maintenance or cost in maintaining that.
Yeah, and easy to rebuild, but it's a really good low cost of entry, a lot of fun to drive racer class of car.
And with the fact that it's such a lightweight chassis stroke tub, that you wouldn't have to do anything to the engine, right?
No, not really. No, they restrict what you can do to the engine.
Well, there you go.
They find somebody with too much horsepower, they really put a lot of weight in them.
So, confirmation, Ben Sinnott wins, Davis Jones and John Thompson are your top 3. There's your winner. Darth Vader, as he's been named by Ben in the number 5. Well, he's certainly the daddy. He's still looking smooth, even on the slowdown lap.
Yeah.
So the fog rising here at Virginia International Raceway, and it's sad that it's foggy because it's a beautiful track, this. If you're coming to us for the first time, we got just at the end of yesterday some sunshine, finally. And we were able to see just how resplendent it can be. But we'll see it later in the day. I'm sure it'll open up a little bit. And we do have a packed day of racing. I know you were wandering around the paddock last night. I mean, glorious sight of cars being prepared and repaired. And just a bumper feel, once again, of SVRA.
Yeah, and the neat thing about this, and this is going to be the theme for today, is in practice and qualifying, we had torrential rain. Yep. Yesterday was a pretty clear day, not a lot of moisture on the track, and so yesterday was really their first dry laps. So we're going to see today who got the setup right.
So here's the results then. Ben Sinnott with his second win of the weekend in the Lola T91/90. Davis Jones taking second place. John Thompson third. Thomas Kane, we saw quite a lot of him on track in fourth position ahead of Peter Krause, Greg Miller, Glenn Gividen Jr. and Nathan Scigliano, the man who spun round, made it back up to 8th position. Mark Clark in 9th and Bob Wheelis in 10th position. We'll take a short break here from VIR. We'll be back with more SVRA coverage in a moment.